In the darkest corners of ancient empires where thrones were carved from blood and gold, there was a whisper that never died. A whisper that the world is not ruled by virtue but by will. And as kingdoms rose and fell like waves in a storm, one brutal truth remained etched into the bones of history. It is not always the noble who wear the crown, but the relentless, the daring, the shameless. There is something disturbingly consistent in how the cruel rise while the kind stay buried in the dust. From the palaces of Rome to the boardrooms of modern-day empires, the same question echoes across the corridors of time. Why do the worst people seem to succeed? Before you close your eyes on this question, I need you to understand something. This truth is not for the faint-hearted, and this story is not one of comfort but of confrontation. So if you value clarity over comfort, if you're ready to pull the veil off the illusion, then sit with me, because what I'm about to tell you might haunt you, change you, and if you're brave enough, free you. But before we go any deeper into the shadows of power and deceit, remember to subscribe to this channel, like the video if you dare to continue, and leave a comment below on whether power corrupts or only reveals. History does not hide its patterns, it flaunts them. Caesar did not conquer Gaul with grace, he bathed it in fire. Genghis Khan was not revered for his mercy, but feared for his ruthlessness. These men were not anomalies, they were the rule dressed in iron and blood. The kind-hearted monk does not command an army. The poet does not set laws in stone. It is the man who dares to grasp the world by its throat, who bends the rules, breaks them, remakes them. He is the one who reigns. Nietzsche once said, "He who fights with monsters should be careful lest he thereby become a monster." But what if the monster is the only one fit to win? What if the monster is not the aberration but the architect of our civilization? In every empire there were those who built with kindness and were forgotten, and those who took with cruelty and became legend. The brutal irony is that morality rarely fuels the engines of history. It is power that drives the world, not virtue. Let me take you back to a forgotten story of a man known only in whispers, Prince Vortigern of Britannia. A man of charisma and culture, loved by his people, devoted to peace. When war erupted across the sea, Vortigern tried to make peace through treaties. His rivals mocked him. And when invaders came, the people who once loved him turned to another, a ruthless warlord named Hengist, who offered not peace but domination. He burned what Vortigern tried to save. And yet when the ashes settled, it was Hengist who was crowned. It wasn't justice that chose him, it was victory. Vortigern vanished into obscurity, a footnote. Hengist lives on in myth. This is not justice, this is power. Nietzsche asked, what is good? All that heightens the feeling of power. He did not mean that evil is noble, but that power defines what we remember, what we call success. But why? Why do people follow the strong even when they are cruel? Because power promises safety. People are drawn to certainty, not necessarily kindness. A ruthless leader who can protect the tribe will be chosen over a gentle one who cannot. In the primal algorithm of survival, we are still animals. Civilized, yes, but deep down the herd seeks the strongest bull, not the fairest. In every revolution, it is not the dreamers who survive, but the tacticians. It is not the pure who last, but the bold. Even our modern democracies are not immune. The same instinct drives election after election, boardroom after boardroom. The masses may chant about ideals, but they vote for dominance. The media praises charisma, not character. And in the shadows of these choices, history repeats itself in silence. Yet here is the most terrifying part. Many of the so-called worst people believe they are righteous. They sleep well at night, convinced that their ambition serves a greater good. Nietzsche once warned, "Beware that when fighting monsters, you yourself do not become a monster." But the monster does not always come in a red cloak and horns. Sometimes it wears a suit. Sometimes it speaks in polished speeches, smiles in photographs, and builds its throne on the broken backs of the voiceless. And the crowd cheers because they no longer see the bones. But does this mean that virtue is meaningless? That kindness is weakness? No. It means that virtue without power is invisible. That kindness without strength is prey. If you are to be good with fire in your veins. Be like the lion who defends, not the lamb who waits. Because in this world, if you do not command, you will be commanded. If you do not seize, you will be seized. The lesson is not to abandon morality, but to arm it, to rise with a heart of gold and fists of steel, to walk into the storm with both mercy and might. Nietzsche was not praising evil. He was exposing the lies we tell ourselves to stay comfortable. He wrote, "The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe." And perhaps that is the greatest truth of all, that if you seek to rise, you must step outside the illusions. You must abandon the comfort of the herd. You must embrace your will to power, not to dominate others, but to refuse to be dominated. In the end, the world does not reward who you are. It rewards what you do. It crowns the brave, the clever, the daring. If you want to change the world, you must not only dream of justice, you must become strong enough to impose it. In this brutal, beautiful world, those who walk with both conscience and courage may be few, but they are the ones who truly shape history. Do not envy the wicked who rise. Outgrow them, outlast them, outshine them. And if you ever find yourself surrounded by the worst of men, do not become them. Rise above them. Become the one who can defeat them, not through submission, but through strength wrapped in principle. This is the power Nietzsche spoke of. This is the truth behind the veil. And now I ask you, will you close this window and forget? Or will you rise with this knowledge burning in your chest? If this truth moved you, then subscribe to this channel, like the video, and comment below with your thoughts. Not for fame, not for numbers, but to tell the world you refuse to sleep through the storm, that you choose power, not passivity, that you choose to see, that you choose to rise.